Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today we are going to have a look at how to land a glider. Now, as you may know, gliders are what I started to fly on, especially the ASK-21 that we are flying right over here has been my very first aircraft. I did do a lot of flights and takeoffs and landings on it, over 200, something close to 270 actually, so that's 13 years ago, but the moment I stepped into this simulation here from F7 Simulations, I immediately felt right back at home. Alright, today we are going to have a look at how to land the glider aircraft. There are a couple of specialties, since obviously we will not be able to do a go-around, so the first landing has to get it just right. Now, in order to do that, there's a couple of techniques that we may need to discuss before we start, and the first one is our standard traffic pattern. So the field we have down here is our landing field. We're going to land just next to the asphalt runway on the grass field over here. So we are going to fly a standard right-hand traffic pattern over here, and the basic position to start the approach is on the downwind, beam our touchdown point, and we want to reach that at an altitude of 200 meters above the runway. Now, depending on the source issuing the manual, you might also find 150 meters, but in my club we used 200 meters as it provided us with a little bit of extra margin. Now, the traffic pattern needs to be timed rather well, and there's a couple ways how to do this. So we are starting abeam the landing field position round about here. We're going to fly out, and at this airfield over here in Dienstlaken we have a very easy way of figuring out where to turn base, and that's at the end of this field over here. Now you are going to fly the entire downwind using just no speed brakes at all, and about 100 to 110 kilometers an hour in the ASK-21, so slightly above the speed for best glide that we have down here. Once we start to turn base, we're going to aim for half speed brakes, so half is round about here. That way, using half speed brakes, we have options. So either if we get low, we can retract the speed brakes, partially or completely, and the aircraft is going to continue to increase its glide. If we come in too high, we can go full speed brake, and we can dive down in order to get back onto the proper path. So aim for an approach using half speed brake, and that is going to give you a lot of options, and that is how we fly those approaches. So there is one more technique here that may be worth mentioning, and that is the side slip. So in order to create extra drag and lose some altitudes, you can put the aircraft into a side slip. How do you do this? Let's go ahead and have a look. So I'm going to steady out over here, and you gotta decide on which side you want to slip to. Personally, I always like to put the nose right so that I can look left, but others see different. It's completely up to you. In order to enter the side slip, you use aileron to get into it, and then rudder in order to stabilize the plane. And then pull the nose up a little bit. The speed indication is not accurate in a slip because the pitot probe doesn't get, or because the pitot probe isn't positioned directly into the slipstream. In order to exit the slip, nose down, release the rudder, and here we are again. So that is the side slip procedure that you can use as well to increase your drag. Normally, side slip is not used, and the speed brakes are the default options, but depending on the situation, especially in case you have a problem with your speed brakes, if the speed brakes don't work properly, if they are jammed or whatever, then you definitely want to be able to do the side slip technique as well. So today we are going to use the speed brakes as we want to demonstrate the normal landing procedure over here. So let's start getting ourselves into a proper position for the approach. I've increased my speed slightly in order to burn some altitude. You can see we're getting below 200 over here, but believe me, once we start reducing speed, we will be back to 200 to fly a proper pattern. Okay, so let's climb. Let's reduce our speed. And here we are. So, just above 100, and we aim to reach the downwind position exactly at an altitude of 200 meters on the speed. So again, that's our landing field right down here. And we're going to turn into the right-hand downwind now. Okay, a little bit of speed brake here in order to make sure that we reach those 200 feet accurately. And here we are, 200, speed brake's going back in. And from here we start the approach. So we now beam the landing field at an altitude of 200 meters and at a speed of just above 100. We fly the downwind without any speed brake. And as we're about to turn base, that is where we're going to take the speed brakes out. So, turning base now, let's get those speed brakes extended halfway, so that we create some proper drag over here and give ourselves good options. Keep a good look outside. You can see we're a little bit high right now, so I'm gonna go full speed brake. So, fly a little base over here, and then we can start our final turn. Getting back onto a good altitude here, let's go back to half speed brake. Like that. And now it's literally judging your altitude and making sure that you don't get too slow. Always maintain the speed and control your path using the speed brakes. So I'm going to retract them now, as we're getting a little bit low. As you can see, the plane immediately starts to glide. And we're getting back towards our touchdown point. We aim to touch down just next to the landing runway threshold, so we gotta aim a little bit before that. Now I'm going full speed brakes and start the flare. The ground effect keeps the plane flaring, and you just flare it until it touches down. And here we are. Full aft stick to avoid the nose coming down, and that's it. So, that's how you land a glider. I do hope that you found this one interesting. Let me know your feedback in the comments below. I'm very much looking forward to it. In the meantime, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching and see you all again on the next one.